よしよし。しょっぱなのバナナ大戦。よしよし。よし。ちょっと待って。オッケーオッケー。久々にこのゲームを始めるためにさ、オーバーレイとかを変えてたら、変えたんだけど、いい感じだ。いい感じで、すごいなんかかっこいい感じのオーバーレイ使おうって思って。というわけで、前回のシャーロック・ホームズから何日経ってるんだこれは。前回のパート4が12月12日なので、ほぼ1ヶ月経っているが、まあまあやることはね、またマミーのあれするのから始まるからね。一緒よ。
Mr. Sherlock Holmes, I presume.
Correct. With whom do I have the pleasure?
Emilio Estevaux, happy to make your acquaintance. I am here on behalf of Mycroft, your brother. He's on his way to Cordona. In the meantime, he requests your assistance with a sensitive matter. My orders are to provide you with the details.
話を
You have my attention, Mr. Estevaux.
Mark Ridley, the son of General Arthur Ridley, is being blackmailed. Suffice to say, the compromising material is of a delicate nature. The matter is of no small importance to the Crown, especially given the status quo on Cordona.
What about the status quo?
The Ottoman population holds a certain animosity towards the colonial rule. It's been this way since we took over the island. General Ridley made concessions with their leaders, but I'm afraid we are still teetering on the edge of open hostility.
What does Mycroft want me to do? Retrieve the blackmail material?
No, sir, nothing of the sort. Mark Ridley is meeting the blackmailer atop the old city bridge tower. You shall observe from a distance, then establish the blackmailer's identity. Do not attempt to arrest him. We'll handle it from there.
Saving the best for yourself? Fine.
There's a cafe just over the bridge that provides a good vantage point. Please report to me when you are done. I'll be waiting for you here, and remember, discretion is of the essence.
またなんか頼まれちまった。またお使い頼まれちまったぜ。
Do exercise some restraint, Mr. Holmes. Find the whos and we'll handle the whys.
はい。はい。これよこれ。一旦それを置いといて、これよこれ。これなんだよ。入ればいいのかな。
Just look at this thing. It's huge.
あれあ、こっちだ。ピンするのが間違いだ。目の前に物があるのにガンスルー。ボーゲルって確かなんか 美術の美術家の人だよね、確か。なんですの。なんやこれ。
It's a bizarre object, and yet oddly familiar. Yes. A room full of curiosities and artifacts. I think I can find it in the manor.
Sherlock. So, you continue to pursue the imaginary. I had hoped you might have got all this out of your system by now.
Mycroft, what are you doing here? Get out of my house.
It's my house, actually. I've come to bring you back.
I have no interest in returning, let alone with you. I know you lied about Mother all these years, claiming she was merely ill, but she was unstable. She never had tuberculosis. She was not recuperating, but mentally deteriorating, and you never once thought to tell me. How dare...
I shall not indulge this petulant tantrum. You can just tire yourself out and then slink back to London with your tail between your legs.
Just tell me everything! I'm an adult now. Show me the basic courtesy of an explanation. You know I will find out eventually.
The goal was stability, and that's what you got. The right thing for everyone was to try and move on from her passing.
The consequences of one's actions determines what is right or wrong.
Yes, exactly. The ends justify the means. After leaving Cordona, Sherlock, you had a normal childhood. In London, I was able to support you, guide you, shape you into a fine and productive young man. You have so much potential, so much to offer society.
But that's not the end. Now I found the truth, and it has shattered everything I knew about her, about you, and about myself. I feel unstable because of you. Your actions were not justified. Lying never is.
Oh, grow up, Sherlock. It was a white lie which has as much use in the realm of the interpersonal as the international. It is time you come to accept that some things are bigger than yourself.
Oh, you are full of it. You like to pretend you care about the big picture, but it's just an ego trip. You like knowing more than others. You like greasing palms and rubbing shoulders with the rich and powerful. You like having eyes and ears everywhere. The fact it helps the nation is incidental, because all you care about is yourself.
It's true. I have agents everywhere, including Cordona. If you weren't so damn stubborn, you'd realize that means I'm only here for you.
そして取り残されてしまって、そしてこれです。でよ、こうしてこうしてこうする。で、よし。よし。よし。ほんで何さ。あ、家の中行かないと。優しさなんですね。優しさなんですね。マイクロフトのね。らしいですよ。 操作が本当に。
I remember returning home with a pair of perfect sticks. We wanted to turn them into training swords.
Oh, that's right. We stood there, frozen, staring at something huge in the main hall.
小さい頃は小さい時はこんなに仲が良かったのにね。まあ兄弟なんてそんなもんさ。兄弟なんてそんなもんな。
It was a giant aquarium with a living mermaid in it.
Impossible, it must have been something else.
そんなわけない。
Oh, of course, that mortifying hoax presently taking up space in our front yard.
Well, fine. Your memory's better than mine. But I'm sure we started examining it immediately. And someone else was around too.
It was my mother. She asked what I thought of the artifact.
You were really concentrating and holding something in your hand.
I inspected it with a magnifying glass and was able to confirm it was made of two
あ、さ
different
すがに
skeletons.
偽物か。
The mermaid was a fake.
And so it was time to smash the thing. Your mother took a hammer and...
Slow down, John. That's not how it happened. I remember other people joined us.
マミーアグレッシブすぎんか。はあ言うてぶっ壊し始めた。
The workers took the artifact and placed it into the cabinet of
この
curiosities.
博物
It
館。
became part of Mother's collection of fakes. She always said that the truth lies in the details. This mermaid helped me to learn that. Ah yes, my mother's studio. She was an authenticator,
Oh.
and this was her cabinet of curiosities.
鑑
I
定
never
士
saw the
か。
point. What does it matter if some artifact is real or not? It still exists.
なるほどね。マミーの仕事はマミー言うた。マミーの仕事はこういう工芸品を鑑
Another
定する
fake
人だ。
Holy Grail. Its owner claimed to be the heir of King Arthur. Scarcely believable. He also insisted a deadly rabbit was hunting him.
偽物も多いんだね。
One of the most ridiculous fakes I ever saw. Its owner insisted it was a polar bear. He thought the white paint on the brown fur wasn't noticeable.
鑑定士じゃなくても分かりそうだけど茶色いクマを白く塗って快適毛布
I remember this cozy blanket. It was perfect for...
Wigwam! Oh, that was a joy to build them. Imagining ourselves as wayfarers on the other side of the world.
快適毛布
It's a pity how many amazing things are missing from this room.
でもなくなってる方なんだ。なんだこれオールアウトみたいな。近いこの画角で見るとジョンがめっちゃ近く見える。サムネイルにできる。
Oh, I remember these. We used them to spar together until Mycroft found out and forbade us from using real weapons.
田中さんこんにちは。こんにちは。新年早々謎解きだぜ。ホームズさん例の個人的な件に関するペロペロペロペロなんだ
carefully opened. Dated 24th of April, 1869.
"裁判所への召喚状。重要参証人としてリヒター博士の裁判に召喚するものである。
So many calling cards. Mycroft liked to keep useful people at hand.
知らない間に。
Reliable and driven. I recognize Mycroft's handwriting.
誰よ。
Officer Luciano J. Placido.
ルチアーノ。
This drawer was always closed. Only Mycroft knew how to open it.
I remember we tried to break it open and spy on him, but alas, had no success. Maybe today's the day. Oh, Sherry.
縄文破り。
Look, it's Roger. This jolly old man's well preserved. Even looks refreshed.
I doubt he drew much interest at the auction.
That's for the best. I'd be upset if he fell into the wrong hands.
家の中にこれあるのやや。
Look, it's
Okay,
Roger.
okay.
This jolly old man's well preserved.
Okay,
Even
okay,
looks
okay.
refreshed.
2回も。苦いコツはいい。苦いコツは。
The so-called mummy of a Persian princess. The defrauders did good work, but missed one small detail. It's the mummy of a man. And this one was brought from a German museum. They claimed it belonged to Vikings. Nonsense, of course. Vikings never had horns on their helmets.
偽物しかないじゃん。マミーの工芸品、偽物しか置いてない。ホームズ夫人は非常に興味深い患者であり、私の理論の追求のためにこれ以上ない被験体だ。やばいじゃん、リヒター。私は精神的害傷を与えるような環境に彼女を繰り返し置き、彼女の精神病を進行させるつもり。リヒター一番やばいやつやん。その状態で治療を行うことで彼女の精神が出来事を認めて受け入れ、効果的に治療されると私は信じている。いや進行させた状態で治療を行うことで精神が出来事を認めて受け入れ、そんなことできるの？母親の症状がシャーロックの精神状態に影響を与え始めているのがわかる。長男が保護的であることもあって適切な診察を行うことはできないが、シャーロックはジョンという空想上の友達という形で幻覚を見ているようだ。母親の病気がシャーロックにも移ってジョンが見えてるという、そういうこと。オットーの弟からダジャレみたいな。
Clearly, it was deliberately torn. Wonder why someone would do that. The Tulpa, Studies in Tibetan Mentalism. An impressive number of bookmarks. Someone was rather obsessed with this subject. The full plate armor of Sir Robert Swanford.
多すぎ。
I was told my father won it in a wager.
Armor is armor, but look at his sword. Oh, how badly I wanted to wield the blade. Maybe you take it instead of your pistol.
I'm starting to remember something. The full plate armor of Sir Robert Swanford. I was told my father won it in a wager.
2回調べないで。おいよー。
Mother said this was among the hunting trophies of a Scottish Viscount.
So he tried to persuade everyone that his forest was inhabited by these beasts. It would have been thrilling if it were actually true.
Where? どこだ？これか。ホット博物館を調べると、ホット博物館に行けばいいのか。集中を使う。第5回目にしていまだこのゲームシステムに全く慣れておらず。ではないのか。快適毛布。快適毛布はわかるけど。これは？ここか。
I used this ladder to look at the top shelf, right? On the day of Mother's breakdown upstairs.
Right you are, Sherry.
はい。はい。あ、こうだ。
We heard a noise. I can't recall of exactly what. And we didn't have a great view from behind the statue. Books and papers from the table somehow ended up on the floor. Now it's coming to the surface. I feel it.
よしよしよし。集中。今回こそサクサクプレイを目指していくから。全然話聞いてないから。村やりはん。何何？生か不思議な。
You're not even trying, Sherry. Concentrate.
はいはいはいはいはいはい。違いますね。
You're not even trying, Sherry. Concentrate.
え、違うの違うんかい。こっちを変える。
Come on, Sherry. Let's go outside. Wait. Did you hear that? Come here, Sherry.
You call this progress? Charlatan, amateur. I'm not letting you anywhere near my mother again.
So there was a quarrel between them.
シリーは夫を博物館の品で遊ぶことにし、彼についていたマイクロフトとオットー・リヒターが言い争いをしている。マイクロフトを怒っていた彼はリヒター博士がバイオレットさんにしたことは逆効果だったと主張し、オットを詐欺師と呼んでた。なるほどね。
I heard a noise in the hall. Let's check it out.
タイガさん、こんばんは。こんばんは。リパーチンかっこいい。クールだね。これ調べてない。
1852, Bingley, West Yorkshire.
1852。
This photo caused a lot of fuss. My mother spent some time to prove it was a fake.
偽物しか置いてない。でんで
I remember how angry Mycroft was about these marks. He called it a frivolous, childish endeavor.
はいはいはいはいはいはいはい。他にも誰かが訪ねてきた。誰か来た。
Sherry, look! We've got a parcel here.
気配だ、
Hurry
気
up
配。
and let's see what's inside.
アマゾンからの気配が。ボーゲルからの招待状。芸術家の人だね。グランドサライ地区北部コルドナ修道院の向かいのターコにあるカートマンチョスのコタクで君を待っている。すぐに来てくれたまえ。都合が悪くても来てほしい。いつの間に友人に。不用意な面倒ごとに巻き込まれないよう適切な衣装を送っておいた。ぜひ来てくれください。
An invitation that comes with a mask. We can't miss this, Sherry.
衣装を手に入れた。よーし。ふふ。今回こそはつまらずたくった事件が解決できそうだな。4回目までもゲームシステムに振り回されまくっていたから、もう今日こそはなるほどね。でってここに行くんですわ。でしてグランドサライ地区北部コルドナ修道院の向かいにあるターコにあるカートマンチョスのグランドサライコルドナ修道院の向かい。グランドのコルドナ修道院。現代のゲームとは思えないこの不親切さ。コルドナ修道院どこだよ。北部でしょ。あ、グランドサライこっちか。の向かいにある一旦これで向かいにあるタ 向かいのターコにあるカートマン。ターコ。ソナ修道院の向かい、この辺かな。ターコなんてないよ。不親切さ。これです。これだね。シャーロック・ホームズの醍醐味だね。この不親切さ。今なんてクエストボタンを押したら自動的にその道なりに行くでしょ。そんなことはしないよ。送られてきた衣装どれだ。これか。合ってる。これ正解。正解。だいぶ不審者だけど正解かこれ。あ、ターコにある。ターコ、この辺のことかな。この道がターコということはこっち。画面がカクカクしてるのはね、配信的にあれじゃなくて元からです猫屋の見てる画面も結構ね、広い場所に行くとカクカクしだすから仕様です。全然違う場所に逆です。だいぶ不審者だけど街中でこれ直出待ったなし。カートマンチョスのどこやねん。これか。こっちからじゃ入れない。カートマンチョスは知りませんか。
Help me, please.
I don't think I'm rich enough to talk to you, sir.
この格好のどこを見て金持ちと思われてる。ターコにある左のやつかな。ここかな。ハロウィンでもだいぶきつい。
Welcome to the Manchios Mansion.
あ、ここだ。何を目的に来たかすら教えられてないんだけど。あ、でもみんな同じような格好してる。
May I ask you something?
I would never deny you, sir, but I know nothing about this.
入ればいいのかな。でもみんな結構似たような似たような感じ。騙し
Welcome,
ま
sir.
す。
I do hope you enjoy yourself.
パーチーだってパーチー。
Enjoy the evening, sir. There is still plenty of time before the grand finale.
All right.
楽しめる自信が全然ないです。まず一般になるからあんまりおけつを見せないで。
What if I write an article about these people here? Can you help me gather information about Cordona's elite?
話を聞けと。情報を探す。誰が机の上に乗ってるなと思ったらジョンだった。
I'm so excited about the event.
Hey, Ansel, I see that look in your eyes.
Are you able to help me?
I have nothing to hide, sir, but I've never heard of this.
伏線情報
My
なんてある。
goodness, Sherlock. They made a blood fountain.
かぶって
No,
るかぶっ
John,
てる。
it's definitely not blood, just wine. Gahors at a guess.
全然美味しそうに見えない。
Let me see that stallion up close.
Help me, please.
Excuse me? What? I'm not sure I know.
ジョンの頼み事後回しにしよう。仮面舞踏会的な感じかな。隠された不気味な過去を突き止め。なんかよくわかんないな。オカルト、魔法陣。この仕様がよくわかんない。
Do you know what was here before?
オカルト魔法陣。魔法陣、オカルト。アンチョス家が購入する前、オカルト信者の建築家によって所有されていた。建築家は忘れ去られた書物から学んだ強力な儀式を執り行うことにその人生を捧げたが、通常の魔法陣では儀式に不十分だった。そのため彼はこの邸宅読めない。魔法陣と一致しており壁には穴が開いている。建築家は忽然と姿を消した。床にはただの灰のシミが残っていただけだった。
That's what I like about this party. Bring me more dirt, Sherry. One more piece, and I can expose these base hedonists.
このゲーム結構なんかセンシティブなとこも見せていくから、YouTube さんから警告されそうで
May
怖
I
いな。
ask you something?
Excuse me? What? I'm not sure I know.
知らないね。なんか知ってそうな。
Let me know if you need anything, sir.
人はい
Let
な
me
いのか。
know if you need anything, sir.
Sherlock! Friend! I wasn't sure you'd come.
あ、うまいか。ボーゲルか。
Werner,
I see you are not yourself. The more time you spend here in Cordona, the more I feel it my duty to bring you into our world and show you all we have to offer. And what is on offer today? Pleasure, indulgence, relief, and relaxation. You've earned some time for yourself, have you not?
めちゃめちゃ酔っ払ってるよ。
Would say I'm incapable of it. Nonsense. I refuse to believe there is anyone permitted to know Sherlock Holmes. Huh. You may be right. Then free yourself from inhibition and expectation. The night is young, and so are the guests. You should try to enjoy both. It's not healthy for handsome men to spend every night alone, and certainly not in a house filled with such melancholic memories. I must admit, my travels have proven more taxing than expected. I'm less confident in my life and myself. Time of relaxation seems a distant dream. So can I tempt you with a physical aid to your moral consolations? There's wine, of course, and something to smoke. Or perhaps an artificial paradise? Yes, something more spiritual. A potentiator to sharpen the mind. A 7% solution of, well, that'd be telling, but you must try it.
そんなものに意味はない。
My mind already operates at a far higher level
この
than
ゲー
most.
ムのシャーロックは
Struggle
薬
to
はし
believe
ない。
anything could improve it. My ultimate duty is to provide the world with truth, and I do that perfectly well as is. Duty? You've never cared about that before. Of course I do. Exposing a lie, revealing a fact, that is a moral responsibility. That's not morality. Morals are what happens afterwards when truth collides with consequence. Do you ever follow up on cases you solved? Do you ever see what happened next, visit the victims, ensure justice is served in the courts? And how do you choose where to direct your attention? Are there not deserving causes to which your brilliance could be applied but isn't? You ascribe me more power than I possess. I have a narrow skill set and work within that mandate. What occurs afterward is irrelevant. With every action or inaction, you place a finger on the scales of morality. Many in the city would see you as abdicating your responsibility. I haven't. Not me, of course. Morality is subjective, just like truth. There is little to be gained from indulging in it, and far better things to indulge in. Now I must insist on easing any burdens I've placed upon your shoulders. Show yourself a kindness, and try this rather delectable concoction.
まずいです。必要ない。もらおう。どっち？もらおう。
If this solution truly does assist with thinking, then perhaps
も
it
らうだ
would
け
be puerile to overlook
も
an
らうだけ
opportunity to
使う
study
か
it.
どうかは
I'll take it with me.
置いといて。
Yes, Sherlock. Very good. And now, our
あ
evening
なたは言っ
begins
て
in
ないけど、
earnest.
もらっておこう。
I just
とりあえず。
remembered. I'm sorry, Sherlock. My mind's delightfully impaired. Please take this key. It opens the altar room, past the library. Pardon? Altar room? What now, Werner? Go quickly and find our Fabio. Only you can make him talk. I'll join you in a minute.
薬のため。
Let Fabio speak for himself.
ハビオとかなんとか。この部屋の奥が気になる。さっき気づいたけど、ノイズ抑制、マイクのノイズ抑制を全然つけてなかった。今気づいた。アーティスティックなのはいいんだけど、
Nancho's had to enforce the masks after the scandal.
この距離バレてるやろ。
Nancho.
表示について。はい、違う。花婿。夫人、花婿夫人。もうこれ。
Nancho's had to enforce.
ナモコ夫人。解任。消去法すぎんか。
Manchos had to inform.
ナモコ夫人。解任。と1個足りない。
Manchos had to enforce.
前回のパーティーで起こった事件について話していた。若い男性と一緒にいたカルデ副知事をプロイセン王国の公爵夫人である彼の婚約者が発見した。略奪結婚であったが、公爵夫人の愛は本物だった。コルドナとプロイセン王国の間に政治的危機が勃発することとなった。
I'll pin them down with this scoop.
誰が誰？
Thank you, Sherlock.
いいの？オッケーオッケー。オッケー、好きに書いてくれ。まずいまずい。ちょっとアーティスティックすぎる。絵画がアーティスティックすぎて。では、この歯車マークなんだ。使い道を見つけるか。階段室に裁断室。わかる。このゲーム内容むずい。内容難しいし、吹き替えがないからずっと英語なの。もうむずい。外出ちゃった。吹き替えがあればまだ。内容が難しいです。階段室。そうだよ。何してんの
？One of these books must open a secret passage. I know it.
Well-known and recent plays to keep up to date with the current trends.
映画みたいな本。傾けたらドアが開くとか。
These medieval botany and chemistry books look even more satanic than the occult ones. Codex Orchis. Why does this occult book sound like a flower?
階段室どこだよ。あ、こっちか。死んでるやないかい。
My God. Was he here this whole time?
死んどるやないかい。誰かに合わせるとか。
This crude tattoo partially covers as slave branding.
ほえーとか。
This golden handle has a blood stain on it.
何の躊躇もなく抜き取ったけど。
The dagger is heavy and sharp, but lacks balance.
さすが探偵。
This worm-like sigil has been drawn with his own blood. The wound is deep. A precise strike reached the heart.
心臓ってこんな下にあるな。
A blunt force trauma may have suffered an internal hemorrhage.
ボコボコやん。刺されて頭ぶん殴られて、なんか膝は変な方向に曲がってるし。
The victim has clenched the fabric so firmly in his fist that it's nigh impossible to remove it. He died right here.
ここで死んだ。なんか調べる。びっくりした。知らない間に背後にいるなよ。
This elaborate box must be for the ritual dagger. The ointment smells mouse-like. I presume it is an aphrodisiac prepared from a Spanish fly. The ointment smells... This oil has a slight aroma of flowers and olive. The herbs here are Salvia divinorum. They have a slight hallucinogenic effect to emphasize the ceremony.
儀式が行われた。
This one looks like a twisted symbol of Venus drawn in a hurry.
手はなんもない。ちゃんとした場所だって思ったらすごい劇とかで使えそうなハリボテだった。
The sign reminds me of the astrological symbol for Mars.
まず話聞くか。
Werner, care to explain what is going on
ど
here?
うなったん
On
ねん。
nights like these, it's not unusual for some attendees to get a little exuberant. It's part of the
よ
appeal.
くあってたまるか。
Unfortunately, it appears things have gotten out of hand. Yes, some are more prone to bend the rules of morality.
That's murder. I doubt there's anything left to bend. Why did you not tell me immediately? We were chatting about trivial matters for some time.
If I'm completely honest, Sherlock, I've consumed a rather potent cocktail of substances. My attention slips and drifts, but I'm glad I thought to call for you.
You sent me a disguise.
Oh dear, did I? Well, since I found the body, Mr. Manchios has agreed that you can investigate the matter. I promise my mind will behave itself going forward.
All right. Then pull yourself together, Werner.
パリセーブ。
What is it about these nights that you were so eager to share with me?
Well, they're not always in the evenings, but they are in the shadows. People gather to test their boundaries in a safe and consensual atmosphere, often with more stains than your typical crime scene. But that is the point. Who are we to judge?
I suppose that's fair. What about today, then? Was anything different?
Well, I was invited as a special guest. It was supposed to be a time of both divine and carnal pleasures. A scratch for every unconventional itch.
I imagine you're reeling from your shattered expectations.
On the contrary, there is still spectacle, stimulation, and release, merely in a different
め
form.
ちゃめちゃ流暢に死体の前で喋ってるんだ。警察。
The police remain unaware of this tragic event?
Some of them may be hiding behind their masks. They conceal many things. But we didn't want the authorities to create more problems. Besides, after a few cocktails, their incompetence will have soared to new heights.
How do you know I even want the case?
I promised you relaxation. If there's one thing I know about you, Sherlock, it's that nothing soothes
な
you
んか
more
仕
than a
事
good
がご
mystery.
褒美みたいなこと言われても全然いらないんだが。
Mr. Manchios is the owner of the manor, yes?
And the host of Cordona's most memorable parties. He promises even the ugliest guest a partner for the night. And for the ones with more unconventional tastes, Mr. Manchios provides other services.
What a caring person.
You cannot begin to imagine.
How did you discover the body? In between guzzles of alcohol?
I was set to perform in a fecundity rite with Fabio and came to inquire further. It was a staged ritual where he was to play the principle of life.
And the rehearsal was unsuccessful?
Huh. Who knows? I found him alone on the altar, his blood dripping to the floor.
And then?
Then I called Mr. Manchios. He was panicking, so I told him about you. We left the room and locked the door. Then we were...
Filling time?
Waiting for you was stressful. We indulged in some simple comforts. Overindulged, perhaps.
Were you well acquainted with Fabio, the victim?
Everyone knew Fabio, or wanted to. His beauty was the talk of the island. Too handsome to go unnoticed. He was magnetic. Fat wallets fought for the privilege of having him. He offered the pleasures of performance, and more.
What about the fertility ritual? There was something about Fabio being a principle of life.
Fabio was supposed to portray the beauty of life's origin. Flowers, oil... Not this travesty that seems straight out of the Inquisition.
So this ritual is not the fertility rite. What was it meant to look like?
It begins with a woman lying naked in a flower bed on the altar. She represents Gaia, the earth. As I cover her in oils, we chant for the principle. As our calls reach a climax, Fabio enters and copulates with her. After he finishes, I stab her with a dagger. That part's just pretend, of course.
But the intercourse is not?
I did not expect you to be such a prude. Are you a virgin? It is nothing to be ashamed of, but it would explain the color of your cheeks. The fertility rite marks the start of our festivities. The principle of life is beautiful, intimate, essential. It must not be stopped.
Yet it appears that someone did stop it. What about the naked woman? Can you tell me anything about her?
Oh yes, Matista. She's one of Fabio's compatriots and a performer too.
こんな儀式やりたくねえっつって殺されたかもしれない。
When you discovered the body, was the door open?
No, it was locked. Oh, that reminds me. It's a minor detail, but the first time I came to speak to Fabio, I left without entering, having been unable to open the door.
You didn't have the key?
No, I had it. Don't look at me like that. I was mostly sober. I suspect there was a key in the other side of the door, blocking the lock.
That detail may very well be major, Werner. Well done. So you returned later only to find the lock was not blocked?
Correct. After an hour had passed, I tried again and was able to unlock the door. That's when I discovered poor, handsome Fabio.
These crime scenes always outdo my imagination.
ねで鍵アイロンの鍵使うときだか使うときを合図がなんかワシャワシャ聞こえるなと思ったらジョンが親でだ。
What about a quick pillow fight?
ならなきゃはしないけどさ。なんかある。
Enough cigars to burn down the entire mansion. An open wound spoiled the carpet.
いいです、先輩。これです。
Blood. A sturdy bottle met a not so sturdy human. It didn't break only because it was unopened.
すぐそばにザ凶器が。あと一個なんだ。
Why don't people tidy up after themselves?
禁煙室、喫煙室か。 この格好をずっとしなきゃいけないから笑っちゃうんだけど。ない。あ、衣装室。
Identical to the robes the guests are wearing. Props, decorations, and tools for a more detailed set. This is a different ritual.
この儀式を読んで練習しろ。君の悪い儀式だな。カートンのメモ。マーティスタ、お客様を無視するな。マーティ
How
ス
can
タ。
anyone accept such behaviour?
マーティスタ。
A useful tool for a disguise arsenal.
あの人がマーティスタか。マーティスタはどこに行った
Handcrafted
ん
and
だ。
luxurious cufflinks. There's also a note. For my Fabio, Banchos.
Would you recognise me in one of these? I suppose not.
どこだ、あと1個。あと1個どこだ。なんか画面がチカチカ。テクスチャーって画面が。あと1個な。
Handcrafted and luxurious cufflinks. There's also a note. For my Fabio, Banchos.
F.
The key is similar to the one that Vogel gave me. The capital F on the key fob might refer to Fabio. Props, decorations, and tools for a more detailed set.
勝手に開いた。
Similar to the guests' robes, apart from the bloodstains.
着替えてますね。
Similar to the guests' robes, apart from the bloodstains.
女の人探せばいいだけじゃないのか。そんな簡単なのじゃない。絶対。
The pitcher is empty, but with puddles around it. Blood clots are adhered to the sides of the drain.
演者の中に犯人がいるかもしれんという。あ、毛だな。了解。了解。で、鍵どこで使うね。
The herbs here are Salvia divinorum.
You've got a lot to do, Sherlock.
Emphasize the ceremony.
こんな状況で全任せかい。あ、これなんか集中使うって書いてる。あ、こんなとこにある。
A person leaned against the doorframe. They left a smudged trail of blood.
あ、 あるよ。
A bloody handprint on an armchair.
大量の血
The
痕。
wounded person was here for some time. There appear to be no further traces leading to the altar.
So, Sherry, do you have any ideas about the case?
Perhaps, perhaps. I think I can deduce what happened here.
集中。お座り。この格好で集中するんだ。パチン。いや巧み。今回は多いな。でこっちに行って見えない。ジャバ。パコン。まだある。どこだ。まだあるか。これで全部じゃないの。最初の方か。
The bottle was used as a weapon during a scuffle in the smoking lounge. Then, to ensure no one would interrupt, the murderer locked the door. The unconscious body of the victim was moved to the altar room. Once the body was on the altar, the murderer thrust the dagger into the victim's heart. Symbols were drawn with the blood. The wardrobe was used to hide the bloodied robe from anyone's eyes. The killer washed himself and took a clean robe from the hanger before leaving.
Are you all right? You're on the floor, not moving.
I think I know what happened here.
大丈夫です。これが自分のやり方なんで。階段。オカルト儀式の生贄。本当の目的を隠すため。ほんで、祭壇室を後にした。誰が祭壇室の鍵を持ってきたか分かれば犯人を絞り込むことができるだろう。
I'm starting to put the pieces together.
Fabio was stabbed.
I see nothing gets past you, Werner. Yes, he was stabbed, but only after being knocked out in the next room and placed here. I do not yet know why.
So, who's responsible?
Well, it was one person working alone, and the murderer has now donned a robe. He or she could be hiding in plain sight. We have lost time, Werner, but your discretion may prove to be a benediction after all.
今のでも分かるか。
I don't think I can tell you anything about this.
鍵。 鍵。
The murderer had to have access to this room. After the crime, he used his own key to lock the door. So, who had the key to the altar?
I'm not sure. As a special guest, I was provided one by Mr. Manchios. He should be able to tell you of any others.
Where can I find him?
Most likely in the main hall, entertaining his guests. He has a mask with golden stars. You can't miss him. But please be discreet. We don't want to risk disturbing the revelry.
白のジョン、部屋見てたの。黄金の星の仮面を持っている。かぶっているが、神経質になっているはず。バレないように。色も。目でわかる。見えぬ。激地下黄金の星の仮面。黄金の星の仮面。悪魔に悪魔払いに取りつかれて、悪魔じゃなくて悪魔払い。黄金の星ってなんだ。うまいこと見合い、うまいこと見られん。似たようなのもかぶってるけど。神経質。まあ距離で見て。でもこの星の仮面つぶせで寝ている。みんな似たような仮面着てるけど。猫好き。愛想がいい。ちょっとせ。いなくねえ。なくねえか。効果を足しな。あれじゃんでしょ。広間にいるはずだ。地球平面質論者。あ、この人じゃないか。不安定。
Kurt Manchios, I presume? I'm Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, you must be the one Werner told me about. What a sweet voice you have. It must belong to a handsome young man. Can I call you Sherlock?
As you wish, Mr. Manchios. Mr. Vogel asked me to help you. The body in the altar room requires answers, and quickly. I suspect the murderer to still be here.
What? Lower your voice. I don't want anyone to hear us.
Fabio.
Did you know Fabio well?
People are starting to look at us, Sherlock. Change the subject. I can't believe what happened to him. To me. Such an atrocity. Think what it means for me. A wonderful evening for so many good, influential, and rich people has been ruined. I have betrayed all my promises of exotic delights.
I don't understand. Surely a murder would affect your reputation to a greater extent.
Please, isn't this why you are here? I thought you were a silent magician. Do your tricks and make it go away.
解決してくれたまえ。無理やで。
I need to find all those who had the key to the altar room.
Key.
As far as I know, Mr. Vogel, Fabio, and you had access to it. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. Also, Matista and Santos.
マティ
Santos.
スタや。
Who is that?
Santos Pinchetti, my major domo.
羊、
In his opinion, at least.
羊長。
I'd like to speak to Mr. Pinchetti and Matista. Do you have somewhere I might have a private conversation with them?
Of course, of course. Let me think. Matista is entertaining the guests somewhere, and Santos... Oh, yes. He will be busy with the servants. Or the cook. What's that noise? What's going on? Freeze, filth. You're under arrest.
ええ何散弾銃だがやめてけろー。何このめちゃめちゃおしゃれな演出は。捕まったが。事件解決しようと思ったら捕まったが。
Look at you. Committed a crime, and now I have to free you, kiss your hand, and apologize for the inconvenience.
I did tell you that Mr. Vogel and I were innocent. I emphasized it in my statement.
Your statement? Thanks to some bigwigs who work for the so-called good of the country by releasing fleas like you. Thank God we have Vogel in this letter. Once I get to that goldfish, I'll...
Bigwig? Oh, my wretched brother Mycroft and his long nose.
Wait, did you say Mycroft? Mycroft Holmes? Are you the youngest son of Violet Holmes, rest her soul?
やれ。
Is there something wrong with that? Do you know something about her?
I was working on the paperwork of her case while you still had milk on your lips.
Would you happen to remember anything of the events?
Well, I didn't make the inquiry, but I remember seeing some notes. Why?
Perhaps we can negotiate. I could be quite useful.
Huh. Got you hooked, right? You know what? Stark and the others think they're the smartest here, thanks to you.
この取り調
Let me get
べ
this
室
straight.
立て付
Are
け
you
が悪いんで
listening
す
to
が
me, lad?
I'm all ears.
砂落
Take
ち
this
てきてる
case.
って。
Report to me only, to Constable
この
Harvey
事件を調
Osborne.
査してくれ。
I'll leave everything I have on this table. Find the murderer. Be a real copper. Question the suspects. Make them sing. Give me something substantial.
And if Mr. Vogel is not a suspect?
If he's innocent, then you can take your favourite degenerate away from here. If you slip or mess with the evidence, then trust me, your brother won't save you from my bludgeon. Meanwhile, I'll be checking the archive for you. If anybody asks, then you're a consulting detective.
Let's make a start then. Partner.
次は警官か。
I'm glad we managed to get the scoop
警
before the
官
raid.
か。この事件を解決する代わりにマミーの事件を証拠を見せてくれというの。
I can't go back to prison.
目撃者による遺体発見の通報を受け。誰や。仮面島の部分を身につけわいせつ行為や異常な行動をとっている集団を離散させることに成功した。 容疑者ボーゲル。ボーゲルは被害者によって書かれた中傷の手紙を所持していた。凶器のダガーのほか複数の証拠携帯していた。シャーロック持ち歩くな証拠を置いとけ。マントス悪魔的パーティーの主催者マティスタ。なるほどね。
Back on track to solve the case.
チキ探偵業者には事件の証拠を調べる許可。最高。サントス・ピンチェッティは目撃者である。カートマンチュスが話していた生物を生贄に捧げる行為を即座に思い出した。てめサントスてめサントスは容疑者であり逮捕して尋問をするべきだ。彼が持っていた鍵について調書には何も書かれてない。逃れるためにサントスてめえは聞くこといっぱいある。いっぱいありすぎるって。コースボタン、プリモン。調べるマークが何か。現場を調べる。内緒。Santos.
Look, I found Werner.
Santos, どこじゃ。トスいなくね。まだ飲んでるな。
Can I ask you a question?
Excuse me? What? I'm not sure I know.
サントスいない。チケット。でもお母さんこんばんは。こんばんは。にっこり。
Have you considered Mr. Santos Pinchetti as a suspect?
The snitch? Have you seen him? I mean, my breath could knock him down. What's so special about him?
As a major domo, he has keys that open all the rooms, including the one to the crime scene. Could have testified only to circumvent suspicion, don't you think? We need to question him.
Right. I'll send our men to fetch him. Stay here.
やるじゃん。
They brought him in, Mr. Holmes.
やるじゃん。
Here's the key to interrogation room number 7. Mr. Pinchetti didn't even resist, our men said.
Thank you.
それ抵抗しないな。ああ、こうやって連れてくるんだ。
Question Mr. Pinchetti in the interrogation room.
みんなをここに連れてきて調査させる。
This area is restricted.
7番。7番。よ、お前よくも通報してくれたな。
Mr. Pinchetti, a pleasure to meet you. I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald.
I've already told him everything I know. I'm only a witness, sir. Everything's in my report.
目撃者に逃げて。
You forgot to mention that you hold the keys to the room where Fabio was found. I need only to find if the crime was intentional.
But I need to return to my...
I doubt the house will fall without you, Mr. Pinchetti. Just be still for a few seconds.
と見た目で判断する。怪しいですね。感染または過敏症。継ぎ当てされた穴。はい、配ってます今。おい、チーツインドルド。貴様、怪しいところしかない。転職された記事。一番室次長という一番高い地位にもいるにもかかわらずまずい暮らしをしているようだ。経済的にお金を節約しているのか、経済的に何が違うんだ。あ、十分なお金を持っているがほとんど使おうとしない。わかりません。1じゃない。夏化粧で傷ついた肌を隠そうとしている。
You are the major domo of a rich mansion, and you seem barely able to afford decent clothing. You hide under heavy makeup a skin disease that might be treated with more onerous but less harmful means. Do you have money troubles?
I do not have a lot of means. The pay is below what you might expect.
But you could easily change your job if your employer does not meet your elementary needs.
One can change his employer, that is true.
And the blood on your shoe, where does that come from?
I don't actually know. Perhaps from a guest?
怪しいね。
Did you know Fabio?
Not personally. He was a frequent guest, and cleaning the mess after his performances was tedious. Mr. Manchios always had a role for him, and mainly the leading one. The parties were always Fabio-centric.
And Batista? Was she as popular as her partner?
Don't tell her I said this, but I do not think so. Mr. Manchios hired her only because Fabio refused to work without her. Mr. Manchios used to see her as a worker. She was tasked with entertaining the guests, unlike Fabio, who could pick and choose. Please let me out.
そんな権利はない。ありがとうございます。容疑者サントス。調べよう。なくない。あ、これか。
I recognize the key from the altar room among these.
シャーロック・ホームズの推理のやつです。怠け者のサントス、貴様が遺言に参加したいと懇願してきたから入れてやったぞ。これが私の新しい遺言だ。遺言だカード。 ントス・ピンチェッティには口ひげ用のワックスの瓶と塩のラップが送られる。保有主の気遣いを忘れるなかれ。嫌われますよこれ。しょうがない。この嫌われようしょうがないカード。なんもない。パントスの靴に付着した。誤って踏んでしまった。ピオを殺害して自分自身洗った時、靴についた汚れを見逃した。わあ、これまたなんか犯人が2人ぐらいいるパターンで自分が決めるパターンのやつが。困ったね。困り申したね。
Continue our investigation while I look for the papers. Continue our investigation while I look for the papers. Continue our investigation. While I look for the papers. Continue our investigation while I look for the papers.
さて、自由度が高すぎるゆえにどこをどう進めればいいのか。
Good day, Mr. Manchios. I am Constable Oswald's partner in this investigation.
Be quick and gentle. Some of your colleagues are untrained boors. Although I don't mind meeting young officers, the new blood.
If you cooperate in finding Fabio's murderer, there will be no need to meet with the boars again.
That voice. Werner's friend? You're the policeman. What a disappointment.
Only an undercover agent can scour a ditch full of deviants. I am a consulting detective, although I'm capable of replacing the entire department through my consultations.
Sharp-tongued, I like it. May I presume this tongue will get us out of this trouble? I would be so indebted and glad to repay you.
Nothing's changed. I'm looking for the murderer. That's the only way to get us out of trouble.
But it shouldn't take much time, correct? We're all busy after all.
I need to examine you first.
観察の謎解き。容疑者が多そうだぜ。染色剤による発疹。隅々。非常に贅沢な靴。舐め回すように見てます。急いで手を洗った。潔癖症、年齢を隠している。非常に裕福だが風変わりで分別がない。パーティーを主催し、自分と同じく彼が時間を過ごすのは自分と同じく過剰な時計を持った。健康に気を使うようになった。若い参加者に本当の年齢を若い参加者に隠そうとしている。さっき若いどうのこうの言ってたから。 関係あるのか。どうまでしないか。年齢隠してないと。どっちだどっちだ。隠しきれてはないけど。
You are a little over the top with your use of makeup, Mr. Manchios. Is it so difficult for you to acknowledge your age?
Well, Sherlock, that's easy for you to say to an old man when you look as though you are barely 15.
But still, it shouldn't be an issue for someone of your status.
For people of my age, it isn't an issue, no. But the younger ones can be so afraid of wrinkles and gray flecks. I have to adapt.
Such a methodical man who cares for his body but misses the soap under his fingernails. Are you so impatient, or perhaps even impulsive?
I wouldn't call myself that. Silly little details. If I missed it, it wasn't important. Or rather, it was less important than who or what I was focused on.
Oh. Party.
Mr. Vogel told me a little about your parties, but I would like to know more directly from you.
I'm all yours, Sherlock. You have me arrested and locked here with you alone.
たまにひもじ出てくるな。
Why did you invite Mr. Vogel as your special guest?
He's a pretty fellow. He's capable of surprising the public. He has a talent for saying words that no one else would wish to either say or hear.
I suppose I can't argue with that.
He is a free addition to the eccentricity of the party, which is fine by me, as long as it enhances my party.
I'd like to know who you usually invite to your parties.
Free minds who are able to leave reality for an evening, who can taste forbidden fruit without prejudice. There is nothing that quite spices up life like these parties, assuming one is old enough and has worked many years for the good of one's country.
Oh, true laborers, I see. What was Fabio like? His personality, his habits? Anything you can tell me?
He was the brightest star of my parties. Young, magnetic, and full of energy. I don't even want to mention his beauty. Otherwise, I'll be sobbing.
An expensive champion, I imagine.
His performances were flawless. He deserved his payment. Do you think he was murdered because of money?
Possibly. What about the other guests? Were they used to opening their wallets as well?
I wouldn't restrict my guests from anything. I'm sure Fabio received a few coins from others for his services.
なんかあったっけなんかあったっけ
I've read the letter about your will. A harsh method of ridiculing Santos. I doubt he will use mustache wax when he wears no mustache to begin with.
Where did you get it? Is the slug here? Tell him. I shouldn't have to provide for him. He's a grown man who shouldn't sit on his uncle's neck. He conceives himself as my only heir.
And who is he to you?
He's a leech on my aging body. He has only added problems to my life since the death of his mother.
I fail to see why you made him your major domo.
He needed to know his place, so I taught him. That's not something I know much about. That's not something I know much about. I've no idea about that. I've no idea about that. I've no idea about that. You'd better ask someone else. You'd better ask someone else. You'd better ask someone else. I've no idea about that.
総当たりシャーロック・ホームズが再び
Do you have any idea who tipped off the police to raid your mansion, Mr. Man?
Of course. It was you. I could even say you Sherlocked me in here.
A good guess, but the wrong one. The fellow who did that was Mr. Pinchetti, your major domo.
What? Santos? But how could he even know? If he's not the murderer himself. The ungrateful swine. he has
意外
dared
に
to
逆行して
besmirch
い
my
る。
reputation.
Not a very eloquent choice of words.
What should I call him then, since he's a snitch? Make him talk, Sherlock. I'm quite certain he knows more about the murder than he has told the police.
サントス。
That's not something I know much about.
人柄的にはこっちが 100%
I've
悪
no
いけど。
idea about that. That's not something I know much about. I've no idea about that. That's not something I know much about.
ただ、
I've no idea about that.
ファビオ。あ、カートから。
You bought an expensive pair of cufflinks for Fabio. Were they his price? Or were they a tip for an exclusive show?
It was pure business. Fabio escorted me a few times. I was merely showing my gratitude.
This pair cost a small fortune. You must be extremely grateful then. Tell me more.
You've thrust a knife in an exposed nerve, Sherlock. Yes, he was my protege and my beacon also. With my experience and his beauty, we could have achieved anything. I had faith in him. I would have made him.
なんか人柄は悪そうだけど、ファビオを殺す動機があんまなさそうだ。邪魔するぜ。あ、この人が。あれか。
I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable
マティス
Oswald.
タか。
You are Matista, Fabio's
ファ
friend.
ビオと
This body.
儀式
Yes, it's
され
Matista.
そうになった
But it's a mere shell that will die someday. Just like Fabio.
Please accept my condolences for your friend.
でも友人なんだ。
Thank you.
I'm just here to ask questions and find Fabio's murderer.
It will not bring Fabio back.
観察する。ガン見。カルトの入れ墨、自分で入れ墨をした。目を噛んでいる。なんだこれ。自分でつけた傷。足かせの傷。やけどの傷。ファビオもなんかこんなのつけてたよね。焼きみたい。血が溜まった傷。ファビオの相棒であるマティスタは辛い人生を送ってきた。子供だった頃から彼女は奴隷として働いていた。同じ奴隷であるファビオと出会ったが、二人は似た印を持っているのはそのためだ。ここまでは一緒。現在も彼女を苦しめている。神秘主義に陶酔なんてしている彼女はオカルトの印を入れ墨にしている。マティスタは過去の出来事を忘れようとしており、演者としての生活で金を稼ごうとしているようだ。はい。
Fabio and yourself were slaves, am I correct? You have a similar branding on your body.
Yes. It was a long time ago.
Couldn't help but also notice fresh cuts upon your forearms.
The cuts helped me to forget my past, to cover the old wounds and hide them.
How did you escape?
Something happened. One night the master fell down the stairs. I made him fall, and he died. We ran away that day. We managed to get on a ship and traveled here, to Cordona. Fabio and I started a new life here. It was very hard at first, but it became better with time. Until today.
The bruises on your neck are not self-inflicted. Someone else made them.
Some guests can't contain themselves. They even bite, sometimes. I know I can handle the news.
このボーゲルの話聞いてない。このためにもバティスタを傷つけたのはファビオだ。はい、ごちゃごちゃだ。バティスタ、客に傷つけられた。おい。おい。とはない。まだある。選択肢多いな。カートは登録のために準備している。カートは殺人の後で自分を洗った。繋がんないね。まだか。ボーゲルどこにいる？
I can't wrap my head around such a tragedy at my party. I can't wrap my head around such a tragedy at my party.
この人らはいるんだけど、ボーゲルどこで何してんの？ボーゲルどこで？あなたはどこで何をしている？あなたは今どこで何をしているんでしょうか？7番も見るないか。
I know nothing about this. Don't expect me to know anything about it. Don't expect me to know anything about it. Don't expect me to know anything about it. I know nothing about this.
どれどれ。
I can't help you. I know nothing about this.
Mr. Manchios says that you begged him to be included in the heritage. Isn't that a little extreme, even for a major donor?
He's not only my employer, he's my uncle. And I'm his next of kin. The only one. Mr. Manchios flatly refuses to pay a family member. All I have to do is repay his so-called love. Cleaning up the filth after perverts and decadents. He's imprisoned me. The best I can hope for is a new broom. That's why I wanted to have my part of the inheritance.
Is it that bad? You have a roof above your head, a salary, and the status of a major domo.
For God's sake. I'm forced to dye and stitch my threadbare clothes, and the holes in my shoes are painful. I'm ashamed every time a guest looks at me closely.
Why do you think your uncle treats you this way?
My mother, my uncle's sister, had me illegitimately. She died, and I was given the surname of one of the maids.
But you are entitled to some of the money that belongs to your family.
He thinks not. I was not responsible for my mother's death. I work hard, and he pays me nothing. I feed on the leftovers. While he wastes our estate's property on decadent parties, he paid Fabio handsomely and showered him with expensive gifts for their disgusting relationship.
フォビアには贅沢させてたから。
Please let me out.
ってことなの。あ、でも聞くの少なくなってきた。
Please let me out.
ここでも見た。ボーゲルどこやねん。ボーゲル貴様だけ。あ、おるやん。
Werner, are you all right? Oh, yes, yes. Everything's fine. In
角部屋や。
fact, it's something of a family reunion. My brother spent quite some time in this place himself.
You should not be here. I told the police everything I knew, but they refused to let you go.
ここなしにあなたを釈放する気はないようです。
Ha! What did you expect? The mighty Sherlock Holmes swans in, tells the officers what to think, and the world obeys?
Of course not. Anyway, I struck a deal with the constable, and I've got a free hand in the investigation. I find proof to solve the case for him. He obtains files about my mother's death for me.
Well done. If one has the power or will and can act, then one must. I wonder, suppose you couldn't get the proof to your truth. Would you tell a lie to the guard that enabled my freedom, knowing my innocence? Would that not be just?
ここがなかった場合、嘘をついてボーゲルを放つのかお前はって聞かれてる。でもボーゲルあんまそんなに今までそんなを感じてない。お母さんの遺品をもらえるのはありがたいけど、あんまり今までね、なんかお使いのような謎解きを任せられてるぐらい。作って言っとくか。
I suppose that in the pursuit of justice, if truth was ineffectual, then one must resort to other means to achieve the outcome. I would do it.
Oh, Sherlock, that is sweet of you. Alas, if the police are after hard evidence, then I suppose neither truth nor lie would do.
That is absurd. I can resolve this without compromises. Do not give up hope.
証拠提示。どれが証拠か忘れたんだ。
I don't think I can tell you anything about this. I can't follow you here. I'm not supposed to know anything about this. I don't think I can tell you anything about this. I can't follow you here. I don't think I can tell you anything about this.
どれか忘れた。
I have learned who told the police about the crime. It was Santos Pinch.
Do I know him?
The major domo of the manor. He cleans up after you?
Well, then he does his job perfectly. All but invisible. I couldn't tell you the first thing about him. I know you can untangle this mess. The air here is rather refreshing. I'd even recommend that some of my friends visit the place.
喋ってる途中で。あ、じゃあ。
Continue our investigation while I look for the papers.
んでっていう。サントスの努力は報われない。サントスは遺産を手に入れるため必死にカートのために働いていた。こうでもなんか足りない。足らないぞ。なんか足らんぞ。なんかが足らんぞ。
Continue our investigation while I look for the papers.
本室にある。関係ない。別に関係ない。
Continue our investigation while I look for the papers.
ではあれか、解決してからのやつか。
Continue our investigation while I look for the papers.
はい、みんな話聞いたってことでいいのかね。
This area is restricted.
なぜ？なぜ？なぜ？
I can't wrap my head around such a tragedy at my party.
まだおろや。
I know I can handle the news. I know I can handle the news.
これはいいのかな。なんか全部やれることやった感ある。なんか足らないけど。なんかの割に足らないけど。の割に足らなくないか。この赤くなったり黒くなったりしてるのは何の意味が何の意味が。みんななんか喋った感ないか。このなんか
Please let me out.
この集中モードでなんか見て近づかないと物が見えないっていう謎の仕様があったからな、この前。これで1時間ぐらい悩んでたから。
What a bunch of losers.
You've got a lot to do, Sherlock.
これで終わり？やれること 終わったか。60番残してやる。保護室にある。62番60番の事件の証拠をすべて調べる。いけない。関係ないか。ここは別に押収品。ここは別に関係ないか。
Continue our investigation while I look for the papers.
はいはい。この中で何か解決するのかい。カート。この何も繋がらないやつ。どこをやっても何も繋がらない。って関係ないもんね。今こっちの話じゃねえよだしな。まずい、また積んだか。またですか。
A dead body was found in his shop.
関係ないやつ。
Excuse me, just one question.
I can't help you with that, sir.
May I ask for your assistance?
Excuse me? What? I'm not sure I know. You obviously haven't thought this all through.
またですか。
Or are you just annoying these people on purpose? Good day. Your ticket, please, if you want me to
こ
help
こ
you.
じゃん。どこのこと言ってんのかと思った。証拠室ってあれかと思ってた。本棚みたいなのがいっぱいあるところか
I'd
と思
like
っ
to
た
check
じゃん。
the evidence from this.
And who are you?
Oswald sent me. I'm a consulting detective.
His partner, then? Let me see.
Mata.
A ritual murder.
またつみつみする
Bunch
と
of
こだった。
degenerates. Wait a second. I'll bring it to the table.
危ない。なんか足りないなって思ってたの。
All the keys of the mansion on one golden ring. It's a miracle this ruby hasn't tempted anyone.
ルビー。
A heavily perfumed handkerchief with the initials KM in the corner.
KM.
A handcrafted charm that contains hair and nail clippings.
ピースターの略歴。
This ex libris belongs to Manchios Library.
カント氏。
That's not for bedtime reading.
マティスタのカバンからオカルトの本が発見された。カート氏が所有する印刷。近日中に他界した大切な人間を裸体にせよ。火星と金星の紋章を書くことで汝の力を増幅させ、男そして女の本質の力を使え、男の心臓を金のダガーで貫き、汝を愛さない血を 取り除け、汝の愛を示す紋章をかけ、蘇生を待つ間。
The book describes a ritual similar to the one performed in the altar room.
マンティス。怪しい。怪しい。一気に怪しい。ボーゲルの投稿箱の手紙に、ファビオからの手紙。気は確かなのか。あなたは自分の憎しみを制御できていない。少なくとも僕の周りではね。僕にはお見通しさん。僕は僕が決めた人と一緒に過ごし、会話をし遊ぶんだ。僕はマティスタマンティスじゃん、マティスタじゃない。金をもらっているがあなたの飼い犬じゃない。あなたから寛大な援助は返さないよ。僕とあなたの関係はもう終わりだ。マティスタはまだいるだろうけど。
Not the time for privacy. An emergency kit for boredom.
まだある。
Werner's personal sketchbook. Her key to the altar room. Thank you,
キー
officer.
持ってるやん。マティスタキー持ってるやん。それでなんかわかるだろ。あ、これも話聞くのかな。増えた増えた。手紙はカートに当てたのかもしれない。はい。でも聞かなきゃいけない。おい、どういうことやねん。マーティスタさんよ。
Did you hear?
どうしてんの？人が捕まってるのに爆笑してるんだ。なんだ、ナンバーだっけ。
This book, The Power of Love, Blood and Mandrake, what do you hope to achieve?
To learn more about the invisible strengths that govern us. Occultism is real. The master who fell that night when Fabio and I escaped, I made him fall. I cast a spell on him and it worked.
Or was it a coincidence?
The universe is rarely so lazy.
If you say so.
ああ。魔術なるものファビオに使った。
Could Fabio have written this letter to Kurt Mancho?
Oh. That could be. I never thought Mr. Manchios could make Fabio that angry, though.
What do you mean?
Well, Fabio wanted to disassociate from Mr. Manchios. Clients who are in love are both a blessing and a curse.
But Fabio was here tonight.
Money. In our line of work, we can't afford to turn down clients who pay as well as Kurt Manchios.
Was Fabio afraid of Mr. Manchios?
Not at all. The old toad wouldn't dare to do more than sweet talk and touching. Talk can be forgotten, and touching washed away.
Do you practice occult rituals?
For protection? For fortune? To wash away the ugliness of the world? Sometimes to survive. I have the gift, and I'm learning to use it better.
Did you use your gift on Fabio?
I only used white magic. Love charms lately. Fabio became so distant. I just wanted him to be with me, but I suppose I'm not as skilled as I thought.
No. あと気持ちすぎる。お前やってることえぐいて。
There is undeniable evidence that you were the original recipient of this letter.
What are you talking about? Is it addressed to me?
Your protege wanted a fresh start, it seems. This is sufficient to charge you.
Me? Hurt my star? Are you insane that you would accuse me of such a thing?
He did not consider himself as yours. Since you deny everything, let's move on. Do you have any idea as to how the letter could have ended up in Mr. Vogel's pocket?
You were the detective. Perhaps he took it from Fabio. Werner was a little high.
Do you recognize this book? Could Matista have borrowed it from your life?
She didn't ask me. How ungrateful.
The things described in the book were inspiration for the rituals you performed?
Do you really believe that blood, symbols, and incantations can resurrect the dead? They are just eerie tales with a mix of occultism and voodoo. My rituals are a stage to show some of the forbidden pleasures.
まだ聞ける。なんだこの手紙はつってやられた。
I can't wrap my head around such a tragedy at my party.
ピキとか。
I know I can handle the news.
あれだ、ボーゲルに聞いてない。
I have reason to believe that the intended recipient of the incriminating letter may have been Kurt Manchot.
Well, that makes sense. Too bad I can't remember how I came to possess it. Though I did spend quite some time with Mr. Manchios during the party.
Unfortunately, even with an answer, that may still not be enough to clear you with the police. But fear not, I will persevere.
I hope your attempt to put things straight will make up for...
You being on a bender?
Touché.
まだ生きてる。はい。ボーゲルかカートンどちらかが嘘をついている。はい。ボーナーは複数の薬物で酩酊状態になっているときに手紙を取った。彼を容疑者に仕立て上げようとした。おいおい。ウヨはカートの気持ちを踏みにじった。おい。何がマティスタ・ファビオにマティスタかカートかどっちかが犯人ってこと。難しいで難しいで。これ誰かから聞けるけど引き出しマーク出てるから。
The air here is rather refreshing.
誰に聞くんだ。
I'd even recommend that some of my friends visit the place.
I know I can handle the news.
違う。
I can't wrap my head around such a tragedy at my party.
いる人がいなくないか。あ、この人か。
This letter proves nothing. Fabio wrote it to Mr. Manchios. It's time to free Mr.
Do you really think I'm that naive? I need proof, not words from his friend.
Very well. Mr. Pinchetti told me that Mr. Manchios was lavishing Fabio with expensive and eccentric gifts. The letter mentions rich rewards and attempts to buy Fabio with them. It was written to Mr. Manchios. Who else was showering Fabio with luxuries to buy him? It doesn't fit Mr. Vogel's character.
Look here. We had a deal. Give me the murderer and then take your friend with you. I won't budge otherwise.
Well, fine, but you're just wasting time.
はい。というわけで。はい。はい。これ全然繋がらないんだけど。リスト、アート。ポケットに入れた。あ、そういうことか。ハートマンチョスか。1にしたら。おー、そういうことか。マティスタだったらファビオの人気と野心が大きくなっていくことに危機感を感じた彼女は可能な限り長い時間をファビオと過ごしたかった。追い詰められたメティスタは愛の儀式を隔てファビオを殺害した。彼女には善悪の判断がつかない。彼女には精神病院で治療を受けさせ、過去を克服する機会を与えるべきだ。ハートマンチョ。ひしがれて動揺したカートにファビオを殺す気はなかった。意識を隔てたのは必死で痕跡を隠そうとしていたからだ。彼への愛が死んでしまった今、彼には懲役刑を与えるだけで十分だろう。十分か。マティスタに罪を着せるためだ。彼を疑いを晴らすため、ボーゲルのポケットに手紙を入れた。他人の命を何とも持っていないカートは公式になる。長年にわたってファビオはカートの心を持って遊び、カートの愛情を利用してきた。再び拒絶されたカートはファビオを殺害し、疑いを晴らすために愛の儀式を毎回ね、謎解きよりここの選択肢が難しいんだよな。もはや自分で真実を作っているまである。ほんで意外とファビオも悪いっていう。割とファビオも悪いっていう。おじいちゃんになるまでカートをもてあそぶファビオさん。カートのありになったらどっちにしろ罪はつくんだ。どっちだ。マティスタも動機あるからな。 言うてリスタも動機あるんよな。ここが一番困るんじゃな。トスルートもある。これ思ったけどサントスルートもあるな。サントスルート3人いる。サントさん何年もおじのために働いていたが、このそこで餌を狙っていた。カートに屈辱を味わわされたサントスはファビオを殺害し、おじに罪を着せようとした。カートが逮捕されればサントスが遺産の相続者となるからだ。この誰が犯人でも花の困るな。この誰が犯人にするかはあなた次第システムめっちゃ困るな。でも困るな。地上のもつれ地上のもつれかな。いやでもこのおじさんとはいえ殺す動機が他の人よりあんまりない気がしなくもない。女の人の方がどっちかっていうと動機的にありそうな気がするんだが、でもかわいそうすぎるから両受けてくださいって役な気がするんだけどな。決めるときが一番むずいんだ。何よりこの決めるのが難しいっていう。道中の証拠集めとかより真実を決める行為が一番難しい。
Matista, you killed Fabio during the ritual.
What? No! I could never.
Fabio was a rising star. Cordona already knew of him, and you were not as popular. Your duo was coming to an end. He would have left you, and you were afraid of that. Since you believe in your gift, you thought you could revive him after death. And that time, he would have stayed with you.
That is not true. I was afraid of him leaving me, but I would never have hurt him.
You were there when Fabio was killed. He fought for his life and inflicted those bruises on your body, but you knocked him out eventually.
I was with the guests all the time. Manchios ordered me.
違う気がしてきた。
You knocked out Fabio with a bottle.
違
You
う
locked the
気が
door
してき
and
た。
placed him on the altar. You cast spells
こ
and
こで
pushed a
認め
blade
てくん
between
な
his
いと。
ribs. The blood from his wound was
違う
used to draw symbols
気が
across
して
his
くれ
body
や。
and the room itself. You wanted to use
みん
your
な否定
gift
され
to
たら違
resurrect
う
him,
かな。
but he failed to wake up. So you cleaned yourself up and left the room, realizing the full scale of what you'd done.
That's just wrong. I didn't do it. You didn't see what happened.
Then tell me, what did happen?
I don't know. I wasn't there. You weren't either.
あなたは怪物だ。ここで後戻りできないからね。
I can see that life hasn't been kind to you. Since childhood, you have been used and abused. The guests at the Manchios mansion are not that different. And even if you think you are in control, such a life takes a heavy toll regardless. The only good thing you had in your life was Fabio. You were so frightened of losing him that you killed him. I believe your only chance for a normal life is to receive medical help. Psychiatrists will help you.
Others have always decided what my life should be. And you're no different, Mr. Holmes.
That is your only option, Matista. I'm afraid you can't choose.
わかんないっすわ。正解がわかん
I'd
ない。
weep if I had any tears left at
そ
all.
う。でも他の人に言っても、他の人も当てちゃうわ
I
っ
wish everything were different.
て言うからだ。んでこの人はどうなる？
Are you done yet? Can I leave?
I'll remember this horror forever.
うーん。
It was Matista, Fabio's friend. All the evidence points to her. It is sadly the result of her traumatic past. She requires medical help. There can be no good in executing a person who has such an illness.
She doesn't look sick to me.
That's why the professionals should handle it.
I suppose you're right. It's still good enough for my promotion. As for my part, not everything was in place. Perhaps some documents were transferred somewhere else, but I couldn't find a trace of them. Then I remembered. The discarded document drawers where we put the lost papers or the badly labelled ones. Including the crime scene report of Violet Holmes's case. Everything I've found is on the desk here. Take it.
Your persistence has saved me.
Yeah, well, we had a deal after all. Your friend is free then. You can leave.
Good luck, Constable.
ああ。毎回この正解かそうじゃないかわかんないっていう。みんななら誰が犯人にするのだ。なんか誰が犯人だって決めるゲームになってる。自分で犯人を決めるゲームなの。もはや。もう全員犯人。みんな犯人で。みんな犯人です。全員犯人ありえるか。おじの地上のもつれもあるし。遺産もらえねえって腹いせでやったかもしれないし。 なんて難しい選択を迫るんだ。ストーンド邸の庭の遺体はバイオレット・ホームズの夫人であることが確認された。全体が水で濡れており、喉には5センチほどにわたる縦型の深い石灰の跡が確認できた。顔は腫れ上がり、赤い斑点に覆われていた。低酸素症であると考えられる。第一容疑者のオットー・リヒターを現場で逮捕した。
Garden. There's a garden behind our manor. How could I forget? That's where it all happened, where it all went wrong.
Sherry, it looks like you've almost found what you wanted.
お、もうすぐ見つかりそう。シーン的な。はい。この辺やらないでもいいのか。またここ行かないと毎回
Oh, you did it, Sherlock! The case is closed and all rewards belong to the winner. Bravo!
It is merely the triumph of the truth.
Is it? No compromises? No lies? You're happy with your decisions?
わかりません。
Whatever the truth, it had to be revealed. The victim deserved it.
Well, you seem confident in the value of your actions. I guess since I'm free, you were heard after all. By the way, did you get that precious information about your mother? Oh, not that you must.
Yes, I did.
Forgive my intrusion in such a personal matter. I simply worry I'm failing to be of much help to you.
Actually, you were. For some reason, all the archives on the case had disappeared. This was a rare opportunity to obtain the impossible.
Outrageous. Perhaps someone found the truth unpleasant. Society usually rejects those who speak with too much honesty, doesn't it?
A comfortable lie is often preferred to an uncomfortable truth. Still, I believe that the latter should prevail, and I cannot remain silent.
That's quixotism at its best. Your mere truth cannot defeat institutions, systems, and power. Etiquette, religion, marriage, they're all lies told to preserve connections, love, and sanity. And it's all corruptible.
Lies destroy human dignity. How could you make a free decision without any knowledge of the truth?
Are we really free to decide anything in this world, Sherlock?
Oh, yes. It's a struggle, but yes, we can make our own decisions. That's what I fight for.
What an endless fight it is. Will you ever give yourself a break, Sherlock? You're a walking contradiction, Sherlock. You refuse to lie to others, but constantly lie to yourself. How long until the train comes off the track? I cannot look away, but perhaps I should take a few steps back. You're an accident waiting to happen, dear. Until then,
告白してないのに振られたみたいになってる。
Did you hear Basilio Coppello is in jail? A dead body was found in his showroom.
真実を追っている割には絶妙な判決をしているのはそれはそう。なんか甘ったるいね、病気だから仕方ないとか。優しめの真実を推している気がしなくもない。都合のいい。
He's even been putting up posters. Poor man. Losing.
母さんは溺死した喉の傷は犯人によっての回し目。ああ。マイクロフトはオットー・リヒター博士の治療が気に預かりを信頼していなかった。母さんの精神病は遺伝によるものが大きく、僕の精神や合理性も影響を受けている可能性がある。はい。毎回おかんのとこから。まあ今日はそれなりにススッと解決できたんじゃないか。ゲームの内容にちゃんと悩めた。ゲームシステムで悩むんじゃなくて、ゲームの内容で悩めたからね。
To exercise some restraint, Mr. Holmes. Find the who's and we'll handle the why's.
1階にある入り口は2つの窓に。これを見てから終わるか。
Home sweet home, Sherry.
Hey, this is the luggage we brought from London, isn't it?
待って。裏に大きな入り口があり。
Sherry, please listen to me. Sherry.
John, I always listen to you.
You don't have to do this. You don't have to go through. I don't know what is beyond this door, but I can feel it. Buzzing, angry, like a fly at the window.
I know. I can sense it too.
You locked away this memory for a reason. There is only pain here.
Pain? And truth.
You do not need to suffer either. There is so much more we can do on Cordona, so many others we can help. There is no coming back from this.
なんか、あれ、終わりこれ、なんかさ、この先を進むと、物語が終わるので、セーブしといてね、みたいな。
I find myself awash in uncertainty.
そういうやつを感じるな。
Perhaps now is not the time, with so much left to do.
Thank you, Sherlock. Thank you. Some doors can remain closed.
Cordona still calls for us, yes. And we will answer. But know this, John. One way or another, we will find ourselves back in front of this door, unable to avoid the truth any longer.
絶対それを感じるんだわ。この先、ラスボスです。セーブしといてね。セーブしとこう。そんで、いいのかな。
You don't have to do this. You don't have to go through. There is no coming back from this. Please.
絶対それやん。まあ、セーブ。
I find myself awash in uncertainty.
そんなに言うなら次回にするか。
With so much left.
そんなに言うなら次回に持ち越しますか。絶対なんかサブクエストとかできなくなるからっていう暗示を感じるゲーム 側からの衣装もちゃんと戻しといてね、シャーロック仕様に。変な格好のまま行くわけには。というわけでね。でも意外と早くないか、だとしたら。もっとなんかあった気がするんだけど。あった気というかプレイステーション内のトロフィーの数的にもっとあるのかなと。そういう事件をやってないからかな。まあいいや。まあいいや。次回、母の死因がわかるかもしれないが、いやでもまだまだありそう。今回はちょっと短めにしておくか。しておくか。というわけでね、頭を使いました。頭を使い、母の真相へ、ジョンからの、ここから先はサブクエとかできないけど大丈夫という雰囲気を読み取り、今日はこの辺にします。また次回、頭を使いたい時が来次第やろうかな。やりたいゲームがね、たまに溜まってるから、もしかしたら明日も配信があるかもないかも。というわけで、終わり。終わり。お疲れ。スーパー走行。はい、お疲れ。